I'm Margaret, a 65-year-old woman living in a cozy neighborhood where the sun shines just right, and the birds chirp like they're singing my praises. I've always been the kind of woman who loves hosting tea parties, with my red glasses perched on my nose and my white hair styled just so. I used to be the life of the party, but lately things have felt a bit mundane. Now that my kids have flown the nest, I found myself sipping tea on my porch, wondering what happened to all the excitement in my life. You know that feeling when you're stuck in a routine that's so predictable, it's practically a script? Bingo nights and knitting clubs just weren't cutting it anymore. I craved anything to shake things up. That's when Max came into the picture. Max is my neighbor's new golden retriever, and let me tell you, that dog has more energy than a toddler after a sugar rush. One sunny afternoon, he bounded into my yard, tail wagging like a flag in a windstorm. At first, it was all playful fun chasing him around, throwing sticks, and feeling that little spark of joy again. I mean, who knew a dog could bring so much laughter into my life? But as days turned into weeks, something shifted. My heart raced every time I saw Max, and I started looking forward to our little playdates more than I probably should have. I know what you're thinking, it's just a dog. But oh boy, was I in for a whirlwind of emotions. What began as innocent fun soon spiraled into a series of encounters that would challenge everything I thought I knew about love, loyalty, and yes, infidelity. Trust me, I never expected to find myself in a situation that would make me question the very fabric of my relationships. But life has a funny way of throwing curveballs, doesn't it? And before I knew it, I was caught in a tale that would leave everyone, including me, shocked and wondering what the heck just happened. As the days passed, my little rendezvous with Max became the highlight of my routine. I was practically counting down the minutes until I could dash outside to meet him. It was exhilarating, to say the least. But soon, the thrill of our playful afternoons turned into something more complex, more exhilarating, yet terrifying. It started with one of those days where everything seemed perfectly normal. I had just baked a batch of cookies, chocolate chip, my favorite, and was excited to share them with Max. But little did I know my neighbor, Mr. Thompson, was in for a surprise of his own. He decided to stop by unexpectedly. Now, Mr. Thompson is a retired school principal, and while he's a nice enough guy, he has the observational skills of a hawk. As soon as he walked in, I froze, caught between the kitchen and my excitement for Max. "Margaret, what's that delightful smell?" he inquired, peering around my kitchen like a detective. Just as I was about to deflect, there was Max, barking joyfully outside, ready for his playtime. My heart raced as I panicked. "Oh, just baking for the neighborhood," I managed to stammer, trying to divert his attention. But that wasn't the only challenge I was facing. It seemed every time I wanted to enjoy my time with Max, something or someone got in the way. I swear, the universe was playing a game with me. One afternoon, I planned a picnic for us in my backyard. I had the blanket laid out, cookies ready, and then it started to rain. I was heartbroken, thinking my plans had been ruined. But as I looked outside, I saw Max splashing in the puddles, his fur soaked but his spirit unbroken. I couldn't help but laugh. His enthusiasm was contagious. Then came the day that truly turned my world upside down. I received a phone call from my daughter, who had just returned from her honeymoon. She wanted to drop by and surprise me with a family gathering. I panicked. How would I explain my newfound connection with Max to my daughter? Would she think I was losing it? As I rushed to tidy up, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was about to explode. Just when I thought I had everything under control, my daughter arrived earlier than expected. There I was, standing in my kitchen with a bag of dog treats in one hand and cookie dough on my apron, feeling like I had just stepped off a roller coaster. Max, of course, was right by my side, wagging his tail like he had just won the lottery. I could see my daughter's eyes narrowing, and I could almost hear her thoughts racing. What on earth is going on here? In that moment, amidst laughter and confusion, I found myself at a crossroads. Would I confess my feelings for this furry creature who had somehow become a symbol of freedom and joy in my life? Or would I keep the secret that was quickly turning into a web of lies? The tension was palpable, and the stakes were rising higher with every passing moment. My ordinary life was spiraling into something completely unexpected, and I was left wondering how far I was willing to go for a little excitement. With Max by my side, I was suddenly faced with challenges that made me question not only my loyalty, but also the very essence of what it meant to feel alive again. Little did I know, the real adventure was just beginning. The day of the family gathering had finally arrived, and my heart was racing with a mix of excitement and dread. I had spent the morning cleaning and preparing, desperately trying to create an illusion of normalcy while hiding my secret rendezvous with Max. As the familiar sounds of laughter and chatter filled my home, I could feel the weight of my double life pressing down on me. The atmosphere was vibrant, with my daughter Sarah bustling around, arranging everything and catching up with the family. I was relieved to see everyone enjoying themselves, but I couldn't shake the anxiety swirling in my stomach. Just as we sat down for dinner, the doorbell rang, and I felt my heart skip a beat. I knew who it was, Max, waiting for me outside, probably wondering where I was. My mind raced as I debated whether to slip out for a moment or keep my secret safe. But the tension in the room escalated when my daughter suddenly exclaimed, "Mom, is that dog outside yours?" Everyone turned to look at me with curious eyes, and I felt a flush of heat rush to my cheeks. In that split second, I had a choice to make. Would I deny it, pretending that everything was fine, or would I own up to my newfound joy with Max? As my heart pounded, I felt a surge of courage mixed with a hint of rebellion. "Actually, yes? That's Max," I blurted out, surprising myself and everyone else at the table. The room fell silent. My family stared at me, bewildered by my bold confession. Sarah's eyes widened in shock, and my brother, who had always had a flair for the dramatic, dropped his fork as if it had burned him. "Mom, are you serious? A dog?" she asked, half laughing, half concerned. But the laughter quickly faded as I continued. "You see, he's not just a dog. He's become a part of my life, bringing me joy in ways I didn't expect." The tension was thick, and I felt vulnerable, standing before my family with my heart laid bare. As I spoke, I recounted my adventures with Max, the joy he brought me, the laughter we shared, and how he had rekindled my spirit. Just when I thought I was gaining their understanding, my husband's voice cut through the air, heavy with skepticism. "Margaret, this is ridiculous. You're talking about a dog like he's a person. You're losing touch with reality." His words stung like a sharp knife, and I could feel my resolve faltering. At that moment, I realized this wasn't just about a dog. It was about reclaiming my identity, my happiness, and standing up for what I felt. I locked eyes with my family, my voice trembling but steady. This is about more than just Max. It's about my right to feel alive again. I've spent so long trying to please everyone else, and I forgot about my own happiness. The room buzzed with a mix of disbelief and concern, but my heart raced with a sense of liberation. I had confronted my fears, laid bare my heart, and was ready to embrace the unexpected joy that Max had brought into my life, regardless of their opinions. As the realization dawned on my family, I could see a flicker of understanding in Sarah's eyes. "Mom, I didn't realize how much you needed this. Maybe it's time we all embrace a little chaos in our lives." The emotional stakes had never been higher, and for the first time, I felt seen, truly seen, for who I was, a woman reclaiming her joy in a world that had tried to box her in. As we sat in that moment of realization, I felt the tension shift. My family may not have fully understood my bond with Max, but I knew I was ready to stand by my choices and face whatever came next. This was my turning point, my moment of truth, and the beginning of a new chapter in my life, one filled with the unpredictability of love, laughter, and a little bit of chaos, all thanks to a dog named Max. The initial shock of my revelation hung in the air, but gradually, the tension began to dissolve. As the meal progressed, I could sense my family's apprehensions softening into curiosity. Sarah, ever the mediator, broke the silence with a laugh. "So, does this mean I have to share my room with the dog now?" Everyone chuckled, and I felt a wave of relief wash over me. "Well, I was thinking of creating a cozy little corner for Max right next to my favorite armchair," I replied, joining in the laughter. "He might even help with your homework if you can teach him to read." The lighthearted banter helped ease the atmosphere, transforming the dinner table into a space filled with laughter instead of tension. In the days that followed, my life took on a new rhythm. Max settled into our home as if he had always belonged there, his goofy antics quickly becoming the highlight of our daily routine. I found myself laughing more, feeling lighter. One evening, while trying to teach him a trick, I ended up with a face full of slobber and laughter as he gleefully knocked over a pile of laundry I was folding. "Well, there goes my fashion line," I joked to Sarah, who captured the moment on her phone, laughing as she declared, "You're a natural at this, Mom." Even my husband, while initially skeptical, began to soften toward Max. He'd catch himself smiling when Max would chase his tail or bark at the squirrels outside. One afternoon, I caught him throwing a ball for Max in the backyard, shaking my head in disbelief. "Who knew you had a soft spot for dogs?" I teased, and he merely shrugged, trying to maintain a facade of indifference, though a smile betrayed him. Through these moments, I realized that Max wasn't just a pet. He was a catalyst for change in our households. We started having more family game nights, where Max would inevitably get involved, stealing cards or snatching treats off the table when we weren't looking. "Who needs a cat burglar when you have Max?" I joked one night, and we erupted into laughter as we watched him triumphantly trot around with a piece of pizza crust he'd pilfered. But the biggest realization came during one of our evening walks. As I strolled alongside Max, I couldn't help but reflect on how much I had changed. The chaos I once feared now felt invigorating. I found joy in the unpredictability of life, a lesson I had lost along the way. "You know, Max, you've taught me a thing or two about living in the moment," I said aloud, earning an enthusiastic bark in response as if he understood. One weekend, we decided to host a barbecue, inviting friends and family over. As I flipped burgers, I overheard my brother sharing the story of my dog confession at dinner. "And you should have seen the look on Mom's face when she said she was reclaiming her happiness with a dog." He laughed, and everyone erupted into applause, not just for my courage, but for Max's newfound role as the beloved family pet. As the sun set, casting a warm glow over our backyard, I marveled at how a simple decision had transformed our lives. Max, with his wagging tail and goofy charm, had woven himself into the fabric of our family, igniting laughter and connection in ways I never expected. In that moment, surrounded by laughter, delicious food, and the warmth of my loved ones, I felt a profound sense of gratitude. I had confronted my fears and reclaimed my happiness, and it was all thanks to a dog named Max. Who knew that my journey back to joy would be filled with such humor and unexpected twists? As the evening wound down and the last of our friends bid farewell, I took a moment to step outside into the cool night air. The stars twinkled brightly above, mirroring the warmth in my heart. I glanced back at the house, filled with laughter and the lingering scent of grilled burgers, and felt a wave of contentment wash over me. Reflecting on the journey I had taken, I realized how much I had grown in such a short time. The fear and uncertainty that once clouded my mind had faded, replaced by a sense of empowerment and joy. Max had not only brought a new energy into our home, but had also rekindled my spirit and taught me the beauty of embracing life's chaos. As I watched Max settle down on his favorite spot on the porch, I chuckled at the sight of him snoring softly, his little belly rising and falling. "Who would have thought a dog could change everything?" I murmured, shaking my head in disbelief. But here we are. Returning inside, I was greeted by the warm glow of laughter and the chatter of my family. I joined them, and as we reminisced about the day's events, I realized that I had finally reclaimed my happiness. The joy I had once lost was now woven into the very fabric of our lives, a delightful reminder of the importance of pursuing what makes us feel alive. As I tucked my kids into bed that night, I whispered to them, sometimes life throws unexpected surprises our way. It's up to us to embrace them and find joy in the chaos. Their sleepy nods and smiles affirmed that they understood, even in their own little ways. In those moments of peace, I found my own truth. Happiness isn't a destination. It's a journey filled with laughter, love, and the occasional surprise that comes barking at your door. As I turned off the lights and walked down the hallway, I felt a sense of gratitude for the life I had built, a life enriched by the love of my family and the joyful chaos of a dog named Max. And so I smiled, knowing that in the end, it was all worth it. Life is a beautiful mess, and I wouldn't have it any other way.